Hi children, good morning. Hope everyone is doing great. As just 16 days time is left for you to take your big exam of your life, that is on the 5th May 2024, and I hope that each one of you might be prepared well and you might be anxiously waiting for the 5th May 2024, but still as the 16 days time is left. So, in these 16 days what need to be done, this is the very important point. That is, for the past 2 years, or if you take the long term students repeaters, for the past 3 years you are working, and whatever the work you did, that is going to be materialized on 5th May 2024. So, as that 5th May is the most important for you, and still you have 16 days more time. Remember, 16 days is not a small time, it is a quite a big time, because it is a quite a big time after 2 years of your preparation. So, in these 16 days you can do so much of the things, so many things which can improve your marks and which can decrease your rank and which will increase your probability for you to get into the best of the best medical colleges. So, now we need to think what is left and what we need to do in the next 16 days. So, as far as me is considered, there are 3 things which you need to do. First thing, all the concepts related to NEET 2024 you must glance through. See, already you learnt all these concepts, you have revised, you have re-revised. So, now it is one more time, there is a need for you to just glance through, just brush up all the concepts. So, this is number 1. Number 2, as that final exam is very closer, you need to practice and you need to glance through so many questions every day. So, what are those questions? What are those questions means, by this time each one of you in the recent past might attended at least 15 to 20 3 hours 20 minutes, that means a final NEET model examinations. So, even if it is a 15, it is 3000 questions. So, you need to glance through all these 3000 questions at a very faster rate. You can do it because all these 3000 questions you have attempted in the form of an examination. So, out of these 3000, at least you might be thorough with 2600, 2700. The remaining questions, if you can glance through, you can recollect those questions also. So, that is the second task. Now, the third task. Third task is, whatever the work you did all these days and whatever the work that you are going to do in the next 16 days will be verified, will be tested on 5th May 2024, that is a NEET 2024 exam. So, as all this work is going to be materialized on that day, you need to prepare yourself thoroughly for that. So, that means the third aspect is you need to prepare yourself thoroughly to take NEET 2024 on 5th May 2024. Is it clear? Then all of a sudden it does not happen. So, for that you need some preparation, and that preparation you have to do in the form of the grand test which we are going to conduct. See, today is the first grand test we are going to conduct, and 12 more grand tests are there for you. So, all these grand tests need to be taken as a preparation for your final test. So, for that there are some guidelines and there are some rules which you need to follow. So, now children, now we will discuss what are the guidelines which you need to follow to get best score in all the internal grand tests and also in the final NEET examination. Now, let us see. Now, See, in order to get success and in order to get very great success, focus is needed. So similarly, even to get the best marks in the NEET, focus is very much needed. Then how much focus and for what time? Means as the NEET is going to be conducted for 200 minutes, you must keep yourself focused for all the 200 minutes in that NEET examination. So if you are in high focus mode and in high alert mode, then definitely you will be getting at least 10% more marks which you used to get in the previous examinations. So the first point is, do get prepared to focus for 200 minutes of exam time. Now children, every student want to keep focus, every student, but how many of you are getting success to keep yourself on high alert zone for about 200 minutes in all internal examinations? Is it happening? No, it is not happening. So at least from today onwards, in all the internal grand tests, try to keep your focus high on that NEET question paper for about 200 minutes. You just practice, and before the test begins, you just think that this is the test which is going to decide my medical college in which I will be doing MBBS. Once you feel that, automatically your mind get diverted to the 200 questions which are there in the question paper. So children, the most important thing is focus for 200 minutes of an examination time. Now the second thing, most advisable order of attempting questions. Now children, different students will have different methods of attempting the question paper. Some students will love towards physics, some students will like chemistry, some students will like this biology. What you like, what you love, that is your individual choice. But what an objective examination demands is any question that requires less energy and less time need to be answered first. So in that context, the questions of biology can be answered with a little bit less effort than when compared to chemistry and physics. Because of that, each and every student must start the NEET examination with biology questions, and this biology questions will be followed by chemistry and then physics. And till now, you might have different habits in attempting the question paper, but at least from today onwards, try to attempt this NEET examination in this order: biology, chemistry and physics, because this is universally accepted order by almost all the students. So that is the reason, biology, chemistry and physics. Then third point, see, read every question completely and then answer. Now children, remember, most of the students think that time is running out, so I may not get time to answer the physics questions. So with that intention, they will answer biology questions very fast without even reading full question. They may read half, and the remaining half the students will presume, because the first half of that question you might got in your internal previous examinations. So with that, you will be thinking that next half may be like this, but next half need not be like that. So why we need to presume? Your duty is not to presume, your duty is to read the question. So read the question completely along with all the options. And one more important thing, at the time of reading the question only, you need to underline keywords. Say children, remember, underlining the keywords in a given question is the most important, and this will be highly useful to you while transforming your answer from your mind to question paper and question paper to OMR sheet. So underline the keywords. Then after, read all the 4 options. See, in every question 4 options will be given. So, if you can read the question perfectly, if you can read all the 4 options perfectly, that means you are respecting the NEET which is going to decide the college in which you will be going to do MBBS. So, read the question perfectly, underline the keywords and read all the 4 options. Sometimes what will happen is, you may read first option and you may think that answer given in the first option is right, and then there may be still more better answer in the third option. So, if there is a still more better answer in the third option and you know that the third option is far better than the first option, then as you have not read that third option, you will be confirming first option as an answer for that question. But unfortunately, that answer is not the first option. Then you will be at the loser side. So, you might put lot more effort in learning that concept, in practicing that concept. As you put lot more effort, you must get a reward for that hard work. But just because of a slight negligence in the examination, you lost that. So, children, please don't do that kind of thing. So, the best thing is, read the question completely, underline keywords and read all the options, then come to a conclusion of a correct answer. This is the correct procedure. Then, now there will be 200 questions in the NEET examination, and all the 200 questions need not be easy, and at the same time need not be tough. Most of the questions will be easy, and few questions may be moderate, and very few questions may be tough. If ever you start with a very tougher question, then naturally you will be consuming lot of time and you will be losing the confidence if you don't get an answer. Then in such case, why to deal with the tougher questions? So, the good habit is not dealing with the tougher questions in the first phase of answering the NEET paper. So, then what we have to do? What we have to do is, the questions which you are 100% sure of answers. There will be so many questions in the NEET, remember. There will be so many questions, not 2 or 3. There will be minimum 160, 170 questions you are damn sure and you can answer without much effort. So, all such questions need to be attempted first. I will give you. See, you are starting with the biology. So, in the biology, start with the first question. Clear? Now, first question is easy, second question is easy, third question is easy, fourth question is difficult. You felt that it is difficult. Or the fourth question may be very big question consisting of some 5 or 6 statements, and you need to identify how many of those statements are right. Sometimes a full page may have a single question. So, if ever the question is a little bit tough, question is a tougher, or if the question is ambiguous, or the question is so lengthy, leave that question at the first instance. Then go to the next question, answer that question, go to the next question, answer that question. So, in this process, try to answer all the questions for which you are damn sure of answers. Clear? Then the questions which you left need to be answered at the end of an examination. If you can do like this, now what are you doing? You are answering all damn sure questions. As you are answering all damn sure questions, your confidence level will be very high. So, with that confidence level, if you can attempt moderate questions or tougher questions, definitely you will be getting answers to that. Instead, if you can attempt tougher questions, then you will not be at high, your confidence level will not be at high. So, instead you just follow this instruction as it is. Clear? Then, now let us assume that you are attempting the questions, and in that question a numerical has come, or a question either a statement type or any, there you have seen one question which is a little bit tough, which requires time. Then in such case, my suggestion is better to avoid that questions in the first instance. sometimes you might not be knowing that that question is tough. In such case, try and try that question for 1 minute. If you don't get a solution in 1 minute time, or if the solution is not visible to you in the nearest possible time, then without any hesitation, simply leave that question at that moment of time. Go to the next question and answer this question at the end after answering all known questions. Is it clear, children? Because if ever we spend 3 to 4 minutes on one question, let us assume that you got an answer. Then you got an answer after spending 3 to 4 minutes of time. So temporarily you may feel happy that I got an answer, but very next moment you think that I spent 4 to 5 minutes, that means I spent the time which is allotted for 5 questions, but I made only one question. So this will increase the tension in you. So to avoid that, just don't waste time on any tougher or ambiguous question. If ever you find any ambiguous question, better answer that ambiguous questions at the end, because that ambiguous questions unnecessarily will decrease our brain efficiency in answering the standard or the known questions. So better keep all the ambiguous questions at the end. Now, be cautious in terms of units given in numerical. See, children, remember, nothing will come in an easier manner, but everything will come in a time consuming manner, in the most the doing work in the most focused manner. Now take for example, you might put some effort to understand a concept, and by using the concept you are doing some numericals. Sometimes what will happen is, in that numericals at the end they may ask the same value but in different units. So in that hurriedness, identifying that kind of things becomes a little bit easy, little bit difficult. So in order to avoid that, I told you that underline the keywords. Suppose by any chance you did not underline that keyword, then the possibility for you to make a mistake in that question will be very high, especially in the case of this units related questions. Because if there are two values, first value will be given in one unit, second value will be given in another unit, and if the units mismatches, and you will go to wrong answer. Unfortunately, the wrong answer will be the first option in your question paper. So as you have not identified the right thing in that question, you will go to the wrong answer. So underlining the keyword is in a question is the most important thing for this kind of things. Next, see, the question paper, that means the time that is allotted to NEET is 3 hours 20 minutes, that means 200 minutes. But you are going to write exam at a new place and in a new environment. So the persons who are invigilating might be totally new to you. Their main intention is to conduct the examination perfectly. So there are certain procedures which they need to follow. They don't bother much about your wasting time or any other things. Their botheration is to conduct the examination smooth, to conduct examination perfectly. So in that process, they have to follow certain procedures. So in that process, your time will go waste at least for 5 to 10 minutes, may go or may not go. Let us assume that a time, some 5 to 10 minutes time will be wasted. So by thinking that you need to complete a question paper in 3 hours 10 minutes. See, 99.9% 200 minutes time will be given to you in all the centers. But for one reason or the other reason, if 5 minutes time is gone, then if you can prepare psychologically that question paper, that means the time is for 3 hours 10 minutes, and if you can complete the paper in 3 hours 10 minutes, then that would be very great. That means still you have the 10 minutes time. In that 10 minutes, if ever you left any questions which are very tough and ambiguous can be answered, and you can see whether OMR sheet is marked perfectly or not. Is it clear, children? Then now next thing is, don't form any opinion on the question paper after looking at 2 to 3 tough questions. Children, at the beginning I told you that most of the questions are at your range. There may be few questions, may be moderate, may be tough. As the questions in papers are jumbled, sometimes what will happen is, the first question which you are facing may be a tougher question. Second question which you are facing may be a tougher question, but don't come to any opinion on the question paper just by looking at 2 tougher questions. If you come to an opinion, then simply you will be spoiling the question paper. So don't do that kind of thing. If ever you have seen the 2 tougher questions at the beginning, you must feel happy that the 2 or 3 tougher questions which might be there in the examination I have seen at the beginning. So no more tougher questions. If you can get that kind of a feeling, that would be a great for you in your final performance. So never ever come to any opinion on the question paper by looking at 2 or 3 tougher questions. Clear? Now one more thing, that you are feeling that the 2 questions are very tough, then naturally that 2 questions will be tough for everyone. In the objective examination, the common factor has no significance in the outcome. So that is the reason there is no need for you to feel any unhappy by looking at 1 or 2 tougher questions. Clear? Then next, see, the most advisable time management in the NEET examination is, you must spend at least 50 to 60 minutes for biology. Now children, remember, see, this 50 to 60 minutes time towards biology need not be common to every student, because there are some students who are getting marks around 400. There are some students who are getting marks around some 500. There are some students who are getting marks around 700. So depending upon your time for answering the questions, so this is the suggestible time, that is 50 to 60 minutes towards biology. But as I said that in the 50 to 60 minutes you need to complete the biology, sometimes a biology paper may be lengthy. So don't close the biology paper in at the end of the 60th minute. It is not like that. Generally, most of the examinations you can complete the biology questions in this time. But in that particular paper, if it demands some 70 minutes, but happily you can take the 70 minutes. But you must answer all the questions in the biology, even by taking little bit less time than when compared to the physics and chemistry only, you can do that. But you must answer all the biology questions. But at the same time, don't think that I am consuming much time in the biology so that I will be left with a little time in physics and chemistry. Children, you are starting the NEET exam with biology. So generally in the final exam, every student will be under anxiousness and also feel some nervous. So first few minutes time will not go in the most effective way. So 50 to 60 minutes or sometimes 60 to 70 minutes you might take, but the thing is you must answer all known questions in the biology without feeling that I am consuming much time. Is it clear, children? Next chemistry. 50 minutes time you have to use, 50 minutes, and then physics 70 minutes. See, this is the tentative time which we are proposing, but in a special case where a student normally getting 500 marks, let us assume, and that student in the biology is getting some 310 to 320 marks, and in the chemistry getting marks around some 100, and in the physics getting marks around some 70 to 80, let us assume. So that student sometimes may take 5 to 10 minutes more time towards biology. There is no wrong, because if the biology paper is a little bit lengthy, if you can keep it in the mind that I must complete the biology in the 60 minutes, sometimes it might not happen. So for answering biology questions, consume the time which is needed, but at the same time don't waste the time. Is it clear? Then similarly chemistry and physics. Now see, every grand test need to be attempted as if it is the final test. See children, remember, you have prepared to the NEET for the past 2 years, but the outcome will depends on how you do in that 200 minutes. So that 200 minutes of the final NEET exam is nearly equivalent to 2 years of hard work. So you need to take that exam with that much of respect, with that much of intensity. So as that 200 minutes is of that much important, so all of a sudden you can't get that importance only in the final examination. So for that you need to practice. So you need to practice all that thing in our internal examinations. So every grand test which you are attempting in your institutions must be taken as if it is the final exam. So before starting the exam, you must think that it is the final exam. It is the final exam, and whatever the marks I am going to get in this examination will decide medical college in which I need to do MBBS. And my parents and my well-wishers kept some hope on me that I am going to get into this medical college. So all these things you must visualize at the beginning of all the grand tests, every grand test. If you feel like this, then what will happen is after 5 or 6 tests, you get acquainted and to feel as that every grand test, internal grand test as a final test. If ever you feel that you take the final NEET examination as an extension to this internal grand test, like let us assume we are conducting 12 grand test. So if you can treat the final NEET as a grand test 13, then the possibility for you to get more marks will be is very, very high. So to get that kind of feeling in every internal examination, take it as if it is final examination. Clear? Now in case of matching type of questions, choose answer after all items are matched. Again children, this is the very, very important. In the case of matching, sometimes some questions you can select the correct answer only with the first matching, but some questions you cannot match with first line only. When it is a 4x4 matrix, so you can decide the answer only with the fourth line, fourth vertical line. Is it clear children? So never be in hurry in answering this matching type of questions. Now the most important is give top priority to bubbling of OMR sheet. See, there is no machine in the world which will check your intelligence with that a seat will be allotted in the medical college. So what procedure we follow? We scan the OMR sheet. So what answers you kept in the OMR sheet, based on that you will be getting the marks, and based on the marks rank will be given. Based on the rank, that seat in the medical college will be allotted. So the most important thing is bubbling the OMR sheet. In this process, even if 2 to 3 minutes of time, if go waste, let it go waste, nothing will happen, but mark the OMR sheet perfectly. If ever you feel nervous, you feel anxious in answering the OMR, in marking this OMR sheet. So my suggestion is, take some Xerox copies of the OMR sheets from your college and try every day, mark 2 to 3 OMR sheets every day till your final examination. So this will ease the anxiousness or tension at the time of bubbling the OMR sheet. See children, there is no hard and fast rule. What you feel best and what you feel that it is the best thing to get a perfection, you just follow, or you just speak with your lecturers or speak with your principal. They will give suggestions, you just follow their instructions and implement that suggestions in the internal exams only. If you can implement that suggestions in the internal examinations, you feel the benefit of that instructions and automatically you will be following the same thing in the final examination. So give maximum importance to bubbling of OMR sheet. Then now you take for example, in the organic chemistry, interconversions will be given, like A will give B, B will give C, C will give D. It is an interconversion. So at the last they have given D. So everybody thinks that they may ask what is D, but it is not that a lecturer or a paper setter need to ask what is D. Paper setter has every right to ask what is A or what is B or what is C. So again I am telling you, don't presume that the question which you are going to write, what is there in the question paper, you just read and answer it. If they ask what is C, then answer what is C but not what is D. So again you can avoid any wrongness in choosing the answer in this type of questions by underlining keywords. Here the keyword, suppose if ever they ask what is C, that what is C is the keyword. So underlining the keywords is the solution for so many problems which students will experience in objective examination. So that is the very important thing. Now if ever you find a simple unambiguous question without any correct answer, sometimes it is possible, sometimes it is possible. So if ever you find a question, simple question, but you are not finding the answer, so in such a case go to the nearest possible answer, nearest possible answer. Then what is the advantage of that, I will tell you. Sometimes what will happen is, if there is no correct answer, they will select the option which has answer closer to the correct one. So if ever they go by that method, then you will get an advantage. Sometimes some students what they do is, if they don't find correct answer, simply they will leave the question. But NTA may not give add score in all the type of questions. They may go to nearest answer. So that is the reason, don't leave a question unanswered if that question is very simple. Is it clear, children? Suppose if by chance add mark is given, then everyone will get benefit, you will also get benefit. If add mark is not given, if you answer, then you will get benefit. So always follow this kind of thing. Next, whatever the schedule your teachers will give or your institution will give for the rest of the days, you need to follow. Your duty is to follow the schedule, your duty is not to make the schedule. So as your duty is to follow the schedule, so just take the schedule of next 16 days, but follow the schedule in toto with a slight deviation, because as the time is very short, you can deviate that schedule very slightly as per your requirement. Like suppose if I ask you to revise atomic structure, chemical bonding and thermodynamics tomorrow, let us assume. And let us assume that you have no doubts in the atomic structure, you don't have any doubts in the chemical bonding, but you need to put bit more effort on the thermodynamics. Then what you have to do, just glance through atomic structure, chemical bonding very fast, but put some more effort on the thermodynamics. If you can do like this, then you will be revising all the 3 chapters that are allotted, and at the same time you allotted bit more time towards thermodynamics, your purpose is served. So, like that you need to do. But children, remember one thing, all of you did lot more work, and the work that you did for all these years is going to be materialized on 5th May 2024. 5th May 2024. So, be cautious, be alert, and be focused for the next 16 days. If you can be like this for the next 16 days, definitely you will be the winner. So, we wish you all the best.